Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Andersen, and you are now listening to Business on the Run with Mark Andersen. And I am so excited to have Alfonzo with Sirius Plumbing as my guest this afternoon. Most small business owners don't fail because of a lack of passion. They fail because they're running blind. I'm Mark Andersen, and I help small business owners make data-driven decisions using the information from their accounting records. My mission is simple. I want to make a dent in the small business failure rate by teaching you how to use your finances to make better decisions. Welcome to Business on the Run. Alfonzo, welcome. Super excited to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. We're happy to be here. Happy to share our story, and
I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, I can't wait for you to tell it. So, tell us about the birth of Sirius Plumbing.
Roughly 2000 and 2004, I was working for AT&T doing revenue and collections, and it wasn't my favorite thing being in a cubicle with 300 people. I'm in a wide open space, and it just wasn't my thing. So I always had kept in mind, what can we do aside from working inside a closed office? So a friend of mine had already gotten into the plumbing business. I started helping him on the weekends, started liking it, really got to know the opportunities in plumbing as far as helping people and really providing a service that people grateful for. And it was fun. So that's what got us into the plumbing industry roughly 20 something years ago. After that, it's interesting. We're kind of like little nitpicker people. Myself, I'm one of them. I want to do details. And my mom always raised me with the saying, don't have a toe to get stepped on. So with that in mind, I approached my jobs and our customers, building the connection, and just ensuring that there was going to be a service provided with someone to stand behind it. So we were still working for other companies and having a lot of independent work ourselves.
But now you do it full time.
100% full time.
When did that start?
That started about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Everything just fell into place 5 years ago, and it was time for me to get out there. The connections had already been made. I can honestly sit here as a testament and share with everybody here, timing is always perfect. We left what was happening at that time, roughly 5 years ago, and then we had the first freeze. So we started independently roughly October or something like that. We were already leasing a license and working under somebody else's credentials.
Okay.
And providing our work as certified journeymen, registered journeymen.
Okay.
And we got to the point where everything was under our credentials. And with that few months, that freeze came, and it just catapulted us years ahead of time.
Lots of broken pipes to fix.
We were busy for over 3 months as a newly established business, a few months old. We made a lot of connections because of the service that I was speaking of earlier. It just really catapulted us. It put us up on a platform as being a very personable business. There's a lot more going on than what I'm doing here. So I was like,
you got people in the field doing
let's
a lot
ride
of
this
stuff.
pony.
So you and I, just to give a little bit of background and a little bit of context, we sort of met online, right? Our social media stuff started to kind of, intersect a little bit, I guess.
Indeed.
And you started liking my stuff. I started liking your stuff. And then it was like we eventually met through Melissa. And we've been, so kind of a new friendship. It's really cool to be able to see, have you here.
I'm glad you bring it up, and I'm pleased with the lineup of how all that happened. It's perfect timing. As a business owner, we're in our 5-year estimate, of establishing the business. We're still new business owners. You have to trust that the timing is always right. You have to be passionate about it. I mean, sometimes like a crazy type of passion, it don't really make sense to other people. However, you've seen things, you've felt things, you've had convictions of things,
Small business owners are a little nuts to begin with.
Well, you have to
right?
be. Well,
You have
okay,
to
so
be.
I see that you run.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I did too for like 10 years. I was running
yeah,
3 to 6 miles every single
yeah,
day.
yeah.
And so yeah, there's something not quite right about that maybe.
About running or
3 to 6 miles every single day. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
why? I did it for
yeah.
like 10 years.
It's an outlet.
It's
It's
an
an
outlet.
outlet.
And I've learned to laser focus that on the business,
Hmm.
which in turn has allowed me to be a better son, a better father, a better communicator with many, many people.
Well, and as we were kind of getting ready for the show, we were talking a little bit about family,
Mhm.
right?
Indeed.
And one of the words that you said, as a couple, you guys weren't going to use was divorce, right? So,
True.
tell me a little about that. Because
Okay,
here's something else that I believe
yeah,
before you get too far into it, right?
okay.
Is I strongly believe that you can't really compartmentalize your life, right? You can't just pigeonhole everything into work and professional. Everything bleeds into it. Your fitness will bleed into your
Absolutely.
family as well as your professional life,
Absolutely.
right? Your faith is obviously going to have an impact as well. So anyway, going back to, hey, when we got married, we were never going to use the word divorce. I think that's fantastic.
We met when we were 18. I was friends with my wife's family from high school. And, we had a typical teenager, adolescent, get together, don't, learning all kinds of stuff the first few years. And when we did end up getting married, just before the birth of my second child, that's one of the things that I had put on the table. Ultimately, many things happened. The word came up, many times. We actually separated a couple of times, and this last time, over 10 years ago, it was a complete reset. It's some of us who don't learn by the easiest of terms. Sometimes we have to learn in another way. Yeah, my family, they moved out of the house. They went to stay at my parents' house. We have a vacant home in Pasadena, so they stayed there a couple of years, got my life back together. And now we're at a place where we have become an example, and the reason we brought up that we weren't going to use the word divorce is because I said we're going to be an example. And as adamant as I was about it, as truthful as I was about it, a lot of things happen in life. A lot of
Mhm.
things happen in life, and we have different seasons. The timing is always right. It's always right. We have to learn to go with the flow in the sense that you can nudge things in this direction as far as your character, your morality, or you can nudge them in that direction. Depending what you're looking for. As far as completely turning the flow of things around, I do believe it's possible. I think for many of us, though, it's just that the masses and the energy
Yeah.
going on in the world is, just put your little essence onto what's going on. Nudge a little in this direction, nudge a little in that direction. Let them know you were there.
I appreciate you being so vulnerable because that's
It's a lot. It is. It
yeah.
is. Well, I asked to be blessed, and with the blessing comes a lot of responsibility. And I believe being vulnerable, being open, being honest, it is one of those. If other people can be helped, you can go through your tough times and always have a brighter future, knowing that His timing is always perfect.
His timing.
That's the key. That's the key part.
That's what you mean by the timing is always perfect because
Yeah.
it's not your timing, it's his timing.
I walked into a customer's home and she had a quilted throw pillow, and it said, "You want to make God laugh? Tell him your plans."
Yeah, that's a great
Loved
line.
it.
That's a
So
great
so
line.
I keep that forever now.
Yeah.
I share it as much as I can. Not to be so literal with things. Just take everything with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Apply it as fit.
When you're dealing with some of the difficulties in life, and we all have had them, right? I've been divorced twice. Horrible things to go through for anybody, for you and for your exes.
Absolutely.
Right? What I would say about those things is that you come out the other side a better person, right? Not that you got there probably because of your own fault, right? But if you spend a little bit of time maybe listening to God's plans instead of your own plans, you might find yourself in a better place.
One of the biggest things that I share now is the saying of Einstein. I'm not going to say it the right way. However, I'm just going to,
No, paraphrase.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly. The level of thinking that created the problem is usually not the same level of thinking that's going to get you.
Right.
So you have to rise from that. And in my personal experience, I've learned to contradict myself, right? If yesterday I believed something, that was yesterday. Today, I learned something new, and it's okay to contradict myself yesterday because today I learned something better.
Well, to me, all that is humility.
Yeah, oh my God,
And
yeah.
doesn't that, I mean, we should be humbling ourselves in front of God anyway. So if that means that we learned something new and have a new take on it in the future, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. It's growth.
Exactly.
An analogy that I could use, if you got a stairway to where you're going to, or a ladder, well, I mean, it's not just one bound, that one leap that takes you
Yeah.
to where you want to go.
Lots of rungs
it's
on
a
that ladder.
It's a multitude of steps. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and life is interesting enough. There's going to be a bunch of steps, emotions, memories,
Good things, bad things.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So change the subject just a little bit.
Sure.
You're pretty active on social media.
I have been. I
Yeah.
have been. And
So tell me about that.
so we realized that exposure demands someone to be behind it. It was needed to have exposure for the business. I took the initiative to spearhead it, as far as having a CRM, posting things in the future, right? Calendars for future events. I think we may discuss something like this prior to recording as well, right?
Mhm.
Where, from what I've learned from other networking people is, and the networking groups that we're involved in,
Sure.
algorithms are changing, and activity is going to be one of the main magnetic, drawers to what's going on. So
Yeah.
we're working on the activity part of it, being social. I mean, having the exposure, videos. It's been fun. It's a learning curve. A lot of an investment.
Yeah.
And I mean, the payout is great though. When you hear people saying, "Oh my God, that's the little alien that I've seen." Yeah, it's
So I'm just curious about some of your posts. I see some of your reels and your stories on Facebook. I'm assuming you're the one that's filming your guys doing all of this stuff, because it's some pretty neat stuff. They're digging around in the ditches trying to find the pipe and fixing
Yeah.
leaks and stuff like that. So
interesting question. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
And that's going to give you some clarity on who Sirius Plumbing is. So that is normal practice of our technicians. They're on site
okay,
and they're taking before and after pictures. They're taking during their work
Wow.
videos.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the easiest things to incorporate that into a plumber's
Routine.
routine. I
Yeah.
mean, gosh, their hands are dirty. They have a job to do. They need to answer to the office. They need to make sure the customer is receiving the level of service that we claim.
Yeah.
It's been something that each technician has to find a way to work into their schedule. Yeah, it's true that the route that we're going now, reviews and exposure and real content, real life stuff.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you've dealt with your business, Alfonso?
Okay, another amazing question. I would say personally for me was being a badass plumber out in the field and coming to run a business and
They're
having to
not the
humble
same thing,
myself.
are they? Yeah.
Not at all. Financials, scheduling, communication,
Sales, marketing,
and it goes on and on.
HR.
And take it with a grain of salt. Whatever happens, get the treasure out of it. And if it was that difficult to get past that moment or to outlive that season, then make sure you charge that much interest on that event, right?
Mhm.
Invest yourself in that. You're already invested in one manner. Make sure to get the benefit out of it.
Yeah.
It's necessary for growth. It's a bit of a humbling process. Necessary.
Yeah, to step back and get out of the way of your people.
Yeah.
Because if you're the one doing everything, all you have is a job, right?
It is.
You don't really own a business.
It is.
You have a job.
Okay, well, let's get into that as well.
Yeah.
About 9 months ago, I realized we have put together a business here.
Yeah.
We have really good traction. We have amazing feedback, unbelievable feedback, very personal. And I told my wife, what if I just start marketing this? that's
Mhm.
it. You know, we built the framing of how the service that Sirius Plumbing provides, and what the expectation is. Now let's let people know that
Sell it.
let's let people know it exists,
Yeah.
and if that's their cup of tea, by all means.
So that's one of the hats that you started to wear as more of a marketing hat. You're talking mainly you've moved from being an operator to more of a marketer.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're doing the marketing, gaining contracts, the exposure, building alliances,
And
connections.
you do commercial and residential
We
plumbing
do.
both, right?
We
Okay.
do. We came from the service side of things, where it's usually a real personal connection with the homeowner. I would say a majority of the times the person at the house is female, and you want to make people comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of plumbing issue happens, and they're not happy about it. Period. So right from the start, they're stressed, they're uncomfortable. What we do is provide a service that allows them to know, hey, now that you've called me, this is my problem now.
Mhm.
Go on about your day, do whatever you need to do. It's just a matter of time. It's going to be solved.
Yeah.
We're going to handle every bit of it seamlessly. So and that's really what I tell people. Peace of mind is what we provide as a service plumbing company, and it just made it easy to stay in the service field, seeing people that are grateful for your service. They like to tell people how well you help them and serve them. Get paid for it.
Word of mouth
It's
is the best
awesome.
form of marketing, right?
It is,
Yeah.
and that's so important nowadays. Word of mouth and reviews and reputation. It is about saying what you're going to do, and then being sure that you did exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And that kind of reputation is a lot of times why our customers, they're like, hey, this is going on. Let yourself in, lock up behind you, because that's what they've learned.
Do you do any new construction or anything like that yet?
So we have shied away from the construction side of it, because the service side is rewarding
Yeah.
in many ways. So we've stuck with the service side. We are right now in biddings with a builder, a local builder here in Pearland as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Francis from BMR, for the connection, and that has allowed us to explore the construction side of it, which we are going to get into it. It's just commercial versus residential. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're preferably either commercial or like luxury residential.
Yeah, that's an interesting new avenue to go down, isn't it?
I have learned a favorable market is the market where there's disposable income. In all honesty, that's where our service is valued.
You don't want to have to pick and choose the
Well, we can't. We tried. We tried to pick and choose the level of service we were going to provide, and we can't.
yeah.
You know, when integrity and morality and how you were ethically think, you cannot provide a service other than what you stand for.
Sure.
So
It's got to
so
meet your standards.
we tried it. We tried it. I told my guys, hey, you know what? Let's try it. And I told the guys, you know what? Let's do what we can to they understand they're paying for something to get by, and the guys would be like, you can't do that. You can't work like that.
So, do you have a geographic area that you serve? I mean, what is the geographic limits of your business's
Our
service?
normal clientele ranges from, I would say, Midtown, downtown Memorial area
Okay.
to League City primarily.
Okay.
And I would say like from 225 to 288, Manville,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay. Gotcha. So that's a pretty big area. Now you mentioned, I believe did you mention a CRM earlier?
I did.
All right. Which one are you using, if you don't mind me
We're
asking?
using Clicks on it, Steve. Thank you for the system. Yes.
Is that a plumbing specific?
It is not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Just
not.
curious.
Yeah, and
I've noticed there are some industry specific CRMs out there that people use. There's so many of them out there these days. I don't recognize them. I mean, obviously you've got your big ones like HubSpot and that sort of thing that are out there, but
yeah, there's things like Field Pulse and Jobber and
yeah,
a few
Jobber.
other ones
Yeah.
for trades just like us. We haven't worked our way in that direction just yet. I've been a little too involved in the business to, as you said earlier, sit back,
Mhm.
take a look from afar, and figure out what makes more sense, even though it may be an initial financial investment,
Hmm.
along with the learning curve investment as well.
Sure.
Right? I like to share with my wife, like almost every single day, we're at that place right now, where we're going from what we were to what we're choosing to be and scaling and so forth, that we're having to undo things that we were doing because now they no longer apply.
Yeah.
So it's a fun place to be. Oh my
I
gosh,
should
let me
have
tell you.
probably asked this earlier, but how many employees do you have? How many trucks do you have out in the
Sure.
field? What is the size of the business in terms of trucks and
Mhm.
people?
Okay, so we have two vehicles on the field daily, and we have two technicians that operate those vehicles. We
So
have
two per vehicle or one per
one per
vehicle? Okay.
vehicle, and then we have part timers as helpers,
Okay.
aside from our contractors, and then we have myself and my wife as administrators. So there's about five of us, full timers, and a couple of part timers,
Okay.
and we're in the process of acquiring another gentleman onto the team. So we're really excited. We're in a season of growth.
That's nice to be blessed that way, right? Where do you guys see yourselves in, like, say, 3 to 5 years?
Okay, so 3 to 5 years, all the major systems are implemented and have a working history, and we're focusing on making sure that our exit strategy is right on point where it needs to be.
So I like the way that you're talking, because you're talking about exit, right? And when you say exit, you mean the potential sale of your business at some point in the future, correct?
Yeah, sell and or transfer responsibility, something. Yes, absolutely.
And the reason I bring that up, I don't know, this is with my experience in the small business community. To me, one of the biggest tragedies that I see is, rather than getting the business and keeping the business sale ready from a financial perspective anyway, is not really high on the priority list. So when I hear someone talking about it like you, I'm like, kudos to you,
Thank you.
Alfonso, because even if you have zero intentions in selling it, right? If somebody were to come off the street and go, Alfonso, I want to buy your business, let's say for 3x what you really think your business is worth. If your books aren't ready, you ain't going to close the sale,
Right.
right?
Correct.
You've got to have the books ready. So I don't know. I try to avoid having too much accounting conversation during these because it's boring, right? It's boring,
Oh my God,
right?
dude, I'm so excited hearing what you're
Are
telling
you?
me. I am,
Oh,
dude. I'm pumped
well,
up. Well,
but
I would say every business has to, they have to come across an exit strategy at some point of their
yes,
early business, of their early
yes.
business. You
What is
know
the
what your
yeah?
trajectory is. You know what path you need to take. You know what things you need to avoid. A mountain isn't built from one big giant rock, right? It's a bunch of tiny little rocks put it together. And the same thing with your business. Get it to the selling points. A bunch of little tiny things that you incorporate into the business, systems that have an operating history on paper as
Mhm.
well.
So tell me a little about your systems and how you've developed them, because that's another. Not only is being prepared accounting wise for an exit extremely important, but so are the systems. I hardly ever hear small business owners talk about systems either. So tell me a little bit about the systems that you have that are really working. Here's what I like to know: the systems that you have that are really working well. You talked about some that you've actually unwound because you've grown out of them and you're having to redo them, right? And what are the ones that are missing that will help you get to the next level?
Let's go to the beginning.
Sure.
Pen and paper, yellow legal notepad. We went from
Quick
the
little flow chart on a legal pad.
yep. We went from that, and recently the immediate change from that was the iPhone notes. Notes is a great strength on the phone if you know how to manipulate it the right way. And we've been working from notes for a couple of years, and this is just personally between my wife and I, and the content that we use for the business, as far as invoicing records, and as well as we use it for content as well, for social. we're at the point where it's just not efficient anymore. We are in the transition point where we're pretty much transitioning of everything that we were using because
Reevaluating all of it.
all of it,
So do
yes.
you have a system that you use, or do you have like, do you keep like an inventory of all of your processes with dates perhaps where you're going to evaluate those processes periodically?
I mean, interestingly enough, we do not.
Yeah.
We are. I am just now getting to the point in my life where I have to use post-its and take notes and things like that. So when I'm telling you that we're going, a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are changing,
Sure.
right? So we're learning new systems as we're going. I know the CRM is one of the really big ones. Calendars is another one. Sharing our calendars,
Yeah.
the notes, man. If you share it with your team, like everyone has access to it. We just need to find a way to get that into an actual system like Microsoft or
Yeah.
there's a little bit of fluid cash where we can try to market here, try to market there, and we're going into all of it with it's an experiment, right? Let's see what happens. Of course, we have reasons to go in that direction. It's not just like a wild thought.
No, sure.
However, we're finding out what things work a little bit better than others. And for us, gosh, we're still in the middle of all the transitioning. I would love to be back here 3 to 5 years and let
We'll
you
make sure
know,
that happens.
yeah, let you know where this is going.
You may have exited by then. You may be long gone.
God willing, yes, yeah, I'm totally open for it. I am right now. I am living in a point in my life where I am open to new things
Mhm.
and new experiences and doing things that I haven't done before. All that to live a life I've never lived before.
The one of the things that I find curious about businesses like yours, and what I mean by that is those businesses that have to work on site, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, that sort of thing, right?
Okay.
How do you manage the schedule? Can you give us some insights into that? Because I'm sure you get a call out in, and this is probably where multiple vehicles is hugely important to you. You have some place in the heights, or I don't, the far reaches of one end of your geographic reach, and then you got something else going on the other end of your geographic reach, and you need to do them
Yep.
both very quickly, right? Tell me a little about how you manage, I guess, the schedule, emergencies when they happen. Are you charging more for when that happens? I guess just give us some insights into
Okay.
that.
Emergency fee, $250 emergency fee that needs to be paid to get a technician en route for your
Mhm.
emergency. Jobs at different ends of the city, we give our appointment times from AM or PM.
Okay.
So that's our initial appointment for that day if you schedule a week ahead of time. A couple of days ahead prior to the appointment day, we may schedule you from 8 to 10, maybe 10 to 12.
Okay.
With that in mind, the appointment comes in, you have the scope of work, and you always have to keep in mind that that technician is not going to make it out of that job, period. Every single job. You have to keep that in mind. They're not going to make it out of the job.
On time.
They're not going to make it out of the job at all for anything else that day. They're going to get
Oh,
to that job.
so you're really kind of setting your guys up for one job per day?
Definitely not. What I'm saying is for business owners out there, you cannot expect for the job to work 100% efficiently. If you
Oh, no.
if
Yeah.
you're bidding all your jobs at 100% efficiency, you're losing yourself,
Sure.
and you're wondering why this isn't working, and you're stressed out. So we have to keep that in mind. Okay, so now you've already calculated you got them in an AM or a PM. You narrow it down a little bit more. You got them to a 2 hour window. Appointment time comes. The technician reaches out to the customer roughly an hour prior. Hey, we're going to be there within the hour. And usually you get another text, 5, 10, 15 minutes, we'll be there. Or you might just get a text, hey, we're at the door.
We're on our way.
We're at the door, right? From there, we always, all jobs, we have to consider the jobs that the technician is not going to make it out. And for that reason, you already contacted your other technician.
Mhm.
You already contacted your part timers, and you have all this already lined up. It's not, let's see what happens. It just doesn't work that way. It's kind of like a chess game. You have to be a few moves ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, the technician is there. They got their job done because we quoted for X amount of inefficiency. the job was done on time as scheduled.
Hmm.
And now they have that other 2 hour window to get to that next job.
Okay.
So that technician has that 2 hour window to tell that customer will be there roughly within the hour.
Yeah, because that's I understand your efficiency because we do the same thing in accounting, right? Is that we look at it from the perspective of realization, right? You do $100 worth of work, you bill out $100, that's 100% realization, right? You do $90 worth of work, or sorry, excuse me, you do $100 worth of work, you bill $90, you're only realizing $90, right? So you're only 90% efficient as opposed to 100%. Not as good, right? The wrench that I see with you, and this is why I was so fascinated with how you deal with the
Sure.
geography of everything is, I don't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah, no, you
I
don't.
may I may say, you know what, Melissa or Paul, I'm like, I need you to work on this
Mhm.
because this is coming due, but it doesn't matter where they do it. Their fannies are in the same seat the whole time,
Right.
right? So that's why I really appreciate
Let's
learning, this is the fascination behind learning about other
let's
businesses,
at the
right?
kicker,
So
brother. Yeah,
what's the kicker? Tell me the
Houston,
kicker.
Houston traffic.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yes. Yeah.
If you have a technician on 290 and
Hmm.
610,
Hmm.
and there's a little bit of a backup 610 and
Yeah.
45, and there's another bit of a
There's no such
backup.
thing as a little bit of a backup in
That's what I'm
Houston
trying to say.
traffic.
By the
Yeah.
time they make it here, if they hit three backups, they're an hour behind.
Sure.
Those are interesting conversations, and that's where the whole customer service and the established history and the expectation comes into
Rapport.
play.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They know our technicians call you an hour, or so you're going to be knowing that's happening, right? And
Yeah.
at the end of the that 1 hour wait, our technician may just tell you, "Hey, if you need to reschedule, I get it."
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember back in my good old days when I was in audit, right? I used
Mhm.
to audit small, not bigger businesses than I work with now, but we would have meetings with clients on the other side of town or whatever. And I used to just be, because I was in the golf business before I got
Okay,
into public accounting. One of my big pet peeves was always being on time, right? I
absolutely.
had to cut off a lesson right at a certain time so that I knew that I could make it to my next lesson and have that one start on time. And I was a stickler about being on time. Well, after having mini panic attacks on I-45 on my way to a client when there was an accident on the road. And I say mini panic
Out of
attacks.
your
I meant
hands.
just feeling really guilty
No,
about
no.
being late, right? I got over that really quickly,
Mhm.
right? It was having that happen 2 or 3 times, going, you know what, you just don't know in Houston, right?
S-
And you can just call them and go, I get it, been there, done that.
And I think that that's again where you said, the expectation comes in when you're able to communicate that with calm and
Hmm.
confidence. It's understandable.
Yeah,
It can happen to any of us, right?
sure,
It's to me the main kicker is communication. As in my field, I've learned that I need to give people news because they need to hear it.
sure,
Period. I'm sorry if you're uncomfortable about the previous quote, and now I'm here presenting something else to you. It's my job to present this to you. So for us
sure,
technicians, a customer stressing out about the bill or the repair, totally understandable. We know that as we're going into to the job site. Now, the additional stress of having to present something in addition to that, we accept it. We recognize it as a necessary. That's what they call the professional for,
mhm,
to know that, right?
yeah,
We're not gonna sneak around it. Oh no, don't tell them about this stuff. They're already tripping out, or they're already mad or
yeah,
upset.
yeah,
Or one thing that I do want to touch on
yeah.
is cash flow, though.
Oh, okay.
Ca-
You're
uh,
starting to talk my language now, Alfonso. I
okay,
mean, come on,
okay.
bring it on.
We, as I shared, are a tight outfit, really
Yeah.
personal, and cash flow is what has allowed us to maintain the integrity as far as the level of service that we offer because we have that cash flow.
Mhm.
If that cash flow wasn't there, there'll be more difficulty paying my guys the wages that they're happy receiving to provide the service that they're providing, right?
Mhm.
So cash flow has been huge. We are a somewhat COD type of business. We get paid once the service is rendered. It's one of the reasons why we've always stuck with service, as you mentioned earlier. Had we looked into
Yeah.
commercial, we have, and we can now, right? Because we could float a job
But I
maybe
tell
or
you, that's
something.
where you could get in trouble with cash flow too, though, right? Because let's say you have that builder that says, "Yeah, we've got $1 million worth of work for you, Alfonso." Problem is, we're not paying you for 60 days. Now, all of a sudden, you've got to somehow fund all that work and then not get paid. So now you've
That's
got a
right.
cash flow crunch really quick, right?
Right.
So that's why it is so important that you, and it's a huge mistake that small business owners make. You know, you hear these stories about the little business owner that hits it big with Walmart or something,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And then Walmart just crushes them like a bug because they've got these unreasonable terms. They don't pay them for forever, and they end up
right.
going out of
Yeah,
business,
you
right?
can't handle
So
it.
you hit on your knowledge about finance is incredibly astute because venturing into that area where you may have to give terms for somebody could be a very dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing, right?
It could be, and we're just um, my wife retired from the airlines 8 years ago or
Yeah.
something like that, and I just don't have. I cannot afford that kind of risk. You know, I just won't. So that made it easy for me to focus on service work. Perhaps it'll be a good conversation for the viewers out there. How can a small business like myself attain these $1 million contracts with $100,000 initial investment, materials, labor, without having to involve all these lenders? How can this builder and how can this?
Let me chime in on that then.
Sure.
Here's what I would say is you were just kind of casting out the debt part of it, right? I believe, and it depends on who, if you listen to people like Dave Ramsey, and I believe wholeheartedly in what he has to say from a personal business perspective, right? A personal finance perspective, rather, right? To not have debt, to snowball, all of that.
Right. Personal
I
finance.
disagree with that to a degree with respect to business debt. That doesn't mean you have to understand the risks behind it, right? But risk can be mitigated with knowledge, in my opinion. Okay. And by taking the appropriate steps to mitigate the risk, you can take out that loan or whatever lending mechanism you may need. Maybe the better thing is going to be a line of credit. It just depends on the circumstances. I would push back on you a little bit if you were really interested in doing it. And I'm not saying that you should just run out and do it, right?
Mhm.
That's not what I'm
We're
saying.
having a conversation. I get it.
But don't cast out the idea of a loan. Now, I
That's the
believe strongly that there's good debt and there's bad debt. Debt can be very badly mismanaged, and if you're just financing your Lamborghini, that's bad debt, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're financing something bigger, like fronting the costs, the labor and materials costs for a big job,
Mhm.
I mean, why not give a little bit of money to
That's
the bank in
and
exchange for all that profit?
that's where I'm coming from. That
Yeah.
where we're coming from, I couldn't risk that because my two girls were in college.
Hmm.
My youngest in private school. My wife retired, and I'm like, okay,
Those
so
are certainly factors that have to come into play, right?
absolutely.
Those are also risks,
The
right?
the amazing part, Mark, is that I'm now able to look at that, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm able to contradict what I believed before, right?
Hmm.
Because now I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for what we're sharing.
Oh, I'm loving it. Yeah.
For other people that can realize they're all steps, right? By no means do I have this figured out.
Oh, nobody
We,
does.
we're a very tight personal business, and getting to that scalable part, there's a lot of learning involved. It's tons of fun. I'm really enjoying it. The last 3 to 5 years, I had invested solely on the business. I'm talking about like
Your time.
10, 12,
Yeah.
16 hours. And for the last 9 months or so, it's more like 2, 3 days in the field, maybe of being present, quite a bit of work in the office. To my amazement, quite a bit of networking.
Mhm.
Jeez. I'm in the season of my life where I'm just going out there and I'm enjoying myself. I'm meeting people. I'm being honest. I'm being myself, you know?
Yeah.
And as far as the business, I'm just saying, hey, this kind of business exists if you're interested.
Yeah.
So I'm having a lovely time. I'll continue saying, his timing is always perfect.
It sure is. Yeah.
So take, let's see where we're going to be 3 to 5 years, brother. With your help and what you're doing to bring awareness to finances and cash flow, as we
Critically
all know.
important for small business owners. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to touch on it. Is there anything else should we add to cash flow that I can personally share in my experience? Cash flow is the only reason that we are here,
Yeah.
because there were times that Friday was coming around and I'm like, hey, I need you to come to the job site and pick up this check so you could deposit it so we could pay the guys after
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
That's not a fun place to be.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. And at the same time, there's a broad understanding in the business because we have been there.
Mhm.
So it makes it fun and interesting to figure out ways that we ain't never going back. So
Yeah.
like I was mentioning, I'm having so much fun now networking and meeting people. That or the field, out in the field sweating. No, I think I'll stick with the network, and I'll find a way to make the networking
Yeah,
and the
there you go.
business work because
Well, and that's what you should be doing anyway.
and we are. It's
yeah.
just
So
I think for many of us small business owners, it's really hard to get out of the bottleneck. Let me rephrase that.
you are the
M-
bottleneck.
be aware that if you're the bottleneck, you need to get out of that position.
Yeah.
It's also a risk. The thing is, once you can accept if someone can do a major portion of what you're doing, you're winning already.
Mhm.
They don't need to do 100% of what you do. That's what you're in there for, to fill in the gaps.
100%.
Once I learned that, I was like, oh my God, I think I could do something here.
Yeah, and I think that's a big downfall that I think a lot of us small business owners have, right? Is that they expect to hire somebody and that they will be able to do everything that you do 100% of the way that you
Right.
did exactly. And that's a very poor expectation to have of somebody. Not that they can't be trained, but to get what is wrong with having somebody do 80 to 90% of what you were doing otherwise, right?
Yeah, the only wrong there is the mindset. There's a wrong mindset right there. And
Okay,
let me
explain
rephrase
that.
that. There's a wrong mindset for individuals looking to grow. It's not a one person show. It's really not.
No, it's not.
And you're gonna have to come to agreements, come to terms. It's not gonna be 100% of you. I am happy to say that I've been blessed enough so that if someone can do 80% of my 100%, I'm like,
That's
they're kicking
that's
ass.
a great trade-off.
And the thing is, I intentionally made myself that way. If as an individual owner, you're not learning how to become 110% of what you are, doesn't make sense, right? How do you do that? The
Yeah.
thing is, that's the creation we live in.
Yeah.
We create. Once you decide to be more, you have that peace, you have that confidence that you are more. And with that understanding, you can allow someone to be where they're at. Because
Mhm.
guess what? I was there too. Life has humbled me. I am blessed to be here. I am happy to be here chatting with you, having
I really have
fun,
enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah,
So
really. I'm like,
so two more questions before we call it a day. Did you say that you have an office or I thought you officed out of your house? No?
we do office out of the house.
Okay, so
We
I
are
got the
running.
impression for one reason or another, and
Sure.
obviously it was wrong that you had a physical location, but
No,
you don't.
no,
You guys office from the house.
we were officing from the house.
Nice.
We are running our two vehicles from. So the reason we had to become such a exemplary service company is because I don't have the storage
Yeah.
for a warehouse in my house. So what did we do? We loaded the heck out of the trucks. Put
Oh, okay.
everything in the trucks. Put every piece you might need in the truck.
Okay.
That built us on that reputation where no matter when you call, we're gonna do the job about 95% of the time. We're gonna do the job as soon as we get there. Everything
Yeah.
is on the truck, period. Doesn't matter what job it is.
Not having to do too many trips to office or Home
The
Depot,
oh
rather,
yeah,
right?
no, the supply
right.
house, anything like that. We any of our vehicles, we could literally repipe an entire house with what's stocked on the trucks.
I said I was going to ask you only two questions, but I'm going to ask you three. And the second of the three questions is
Okay.
this: what does Alfonso like to do for fun, hobbies, that sort of thing? I know you mentioned your family
Yep.
earlier, but what else? Tell me what you do to unwind.
So a big thing in our home, my wife loves to cook. She'll go and buy 30 items for one recipe, and then tomorrow she'll go buy another 15 for another
So
recipe.
food.
Food,
Yeah.
and I'm all good with it, man. I love it. We're talking earlier
Yeah.
in the room, food. It really brings us together. So for us, it really is food. My firstborn has graduated as a dietitian, and she's not going back for nursing. My second child, she's going into the nursing field as well. Um, as I mentioned, I was running 3 to 6 miles a day for like over 10 years. I did a triathlon when I turned 40.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna do a triathlon when I turn 50 in
Are you going to
about
do that every 10 years?
I think so, brother. I think so. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I
Believe me,
really
from
am gonna
40, they don't get
try.
any easier.
I feel better now than I did at 40.
Yeah.
Man. I really do.
Good, good.
It might be all psych, but
I'm always telling my wife and my kids and my family that, you know what, age is just a number.
it is.
Last question for the folks out there that want to have Sirius Plumbing come out, do a repair or whatever might need to be done plumbing wise. How can they reach out to you?
So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Sirius Plumbing LLC.com as well. You could contact us at 832-767-8161. We are a trusted local service and repair company. We are woman owned.
Really?
Yes,
Mama
we
owns
are.
the
Oh, yes,
business?
she does.
You're
Better
smart.
believe it.
Give everybody your geographic area, generally speaking, again,
Okay.
if you would. Yeah.
We are happy to service from the general area 610 on down to Texas City, from 225
Friendswood, Alvin,
Friendswood, Alvin,
Pearland,
Pearland,
Manville,
Seabrook, Manville, Nassau Bay,
League City, Webster.
Clear Lake.
Any other parting comments?
Yes, absolutely. So your plumbing is something that you don't think about.
Until there's a problem.
Right. And if you ever had a home stoppage and you told yourself you were not going to flush the toilet again because you knew the house was clogged, and then you flushed it anyway and you had things come up and it was a terrible experience, don't wait for things to go wrong. If something sounds funny, something is loose, or you're hearing funny noise, funny smells or something like that, contact a professional. In my experience, many of the bigger jobs could have been avoided with routine maintenance and servicing. So don't be afraid to call your plumber out to take a look at something, because they may find something else you were unaware of.
It's a pay me now or pay me later situation. Huh?
It really is. And at the end of the day, the American dream is home ownership. And we take it very seriously to bring you that peace of mind that if something is going on, we're going to make you aware of it.
Alfonzo, thanks a lot for coming on the
Thank you,
show
Mark, for
today. I
having me here.
really appreciate it.
It was so much fun. Thank you. I can't wait for 3 to 5 years what we're going to talk about.
Thank you guys for listening. This is Business on the Run with Mark Andersen. Thanks for watching. You can catch us on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, as well as Apple Podcasts. So check us out. Can't wait to see you guys there. And thanks so much for listening.